The grand ballroom shimmered with elegance, adorned with hues of gold and ivory, echoing the joyous celebration of my sister-in-law's wedding. Guests mingled, laughter resonated, and the air buzzed with excitement. I stood on the periphery, a spectator in a sea of well-wishers. My mother-in-law, Margaret, a woman of impeccable taste and prestigious musical background, cast her discerning eye over the festivities. A sudden hush fell as she turned her attention toward me. "Isabella, dear, why don't you share your beautiful voice with us? It would be a shame to waste such talent," she declared, her words laced with a condescending tone. Suppressing a sigh, I attempted to deflect the attention. "Oh, Margaret, you flatter me. Today is about celebrating the newlyweds, not showcasing my singing," I replied, my smile masking the unease that lingered beneath the surface. Margaret, however, was undeterred. "Nonsense, dear. A family celebration is the perfect occasion for a musical interlude. Come, let everyone witness the beauty they've been missing," she insisted, her eyes gleaming with a hint of mischief. A murmur of anticipation rippled through the crowd. Feeling the weight of their expectations, I reluctantly approached the stage. As I reluctantly stepped into the spotlight, Margaret's parting words stung. "Come on, Isabella. Let the music fill the void your plainness creates. Sing for us." I swallowed hard, my mind racing as I glanced at my husband, Paul, who wore an apologetic expression. The piano began to play a familiar tune, and I closed my eyes, finding solace in the melody. The notes carried the weight of Margaret's expectations, and as I began to sing, the room fell silent, captivated by a performance they hadn't anticipated. The final notes lingered in the air, and applause erupted from the audience. Margaret, wearing a forced smile, clapped politely, her eyes betraying a subtle frustration. "Well, my dear, perhaps there's more to you than meets the eye," she remarked, her tone veiling a challenge. As the applause continued, I stepped down from the stage, catching Paul's eye. "A wedding to remember, indeed," I mused, our shared glance acknowledging the unexpected turn of events that would set the stage for the chapters to come. In the quiet of our home, I sat down with a cup of tea, reminiscing about the journey that led me to this moment. The decision to drop out of high school had been fueled by a desire to spare my grandparents the burden of my education. Instead, I embraced the role of a young bride, and soon after, a mother to Kimberly. As I shared my story with Paul, he listened attentively, his eyes reflecting a mix of empathy and understanding. "Isabella, you've carried so much on your shoulders, sacrificing for our family," he said, reaching across the table to grasp my hand. "Your resilience amazes me." A soft smile touched my lips. Life has its unexpected turns, doesn't it? Despite the judgments and societal norms, I found solace in my love for singing. It became a sanctuary, a place where I could reclaim a part of myself. I mused, the memories of choir practices and voice training lessons bringing a sense of warmth. Paul nodded, his gaze unwavering. "Your strength is admirable, and your voice. It's truly a gift. Maybe it's time the world sees the Isabella I've come to know," he suggested, a glimmer of pride in his eyes. The notion lingered in the air as we contemplated the path ahead. Despite my lack of formal education, there was an unspoken agreement that there was more to me than the roles society had assigned. The desire to explore my passion for singing beyond the confines of our home began to take root. Days passed, and Kimberly, our precious daughter, began to express an interest in music. The sweet sound of her humming filled our home, and I found joy in sharing snippets of melodies with her. One evening, as we gathered in the living room, she looked up at me with wide eyes. "Mom, can you teach me to sing like you do?" Kimberly asked, her innocence tugging at my heart. Chuckled, tussling her hair gently. "Of course, sweetheart. we'll explore the world of music together. The exchange marked the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter that would intertwine our lives in ways I had never anticipated. With Kimberly's budding interest in singing, Paul and I decided to nurture her passion by enrolling her in voice training classes. Our excitement, however, collided with an unexpected discord. Margaret, my mother-in-law, an accomplished musician, insisted on taking charge of Kimberly's musical education. One evening, the tension in our home escalated as Margaret voiced her firm stance. "Isabella, I appreciate your efforts, but music is a legacy in our family. Kimberly deserves the best, and I am more than capable of providing that," she declared, her tone authoritative. I exchanged a glance with Paul, concern etching his features. "Mom, we want Kimberly to have the freedom to explore her own path." "Isabella has a unique approach to music that Kimberly enjoys," Paul interjected, attempting to mediate the conflict. Margaret's eyes narrowed, a hint of frustration coloring her words. "Freedom, Paul, is overrated. Structure and discipline are what create true artists. I won't allow my granddaughter to settle for mediocrity," she retorted, her musical pedigree casting a formidable shadow. As days passed, Kimberly reluctantly embarked on her grandmother's rigorous lessons. The strain on our family became palpable, and I found solace in late-night conversations with Paul. "I never thought it would come to this, Paul. I want Kimberly to love music, not resent it," I confessed, the weight of the situation settling in. Paul sighed, his gaze distant. "I understand, Isabella, but it's not easy going against Mom, especially when it comes to music. It's been a source of contention in our family for years," he admitted, revealing the complexities of our family's history with music. In an attempt to bridge the gap, I approached Margaret with a plea for understanding. "Mother-in-law, Kimberly deserves the chance to discover her own voice. Let her enjoy the journey without the weight of expectations," I implored, hoping to soften her stance. Margaret's response was unwavering. "Isabella, I know what's best for my granddaughter. I won't let her settle for less than excellence. She needs discipline and proper guidance," she asserted, leaving little room for negotiation. As Kimberly continued her lessons, the dissonance in our family's harmony became increasingly apparent. The clash of our contrasting beliefs about music echoed through the walls of our home, setting the stage for a crescendo of conflicts yet to come. The strains of my mother-in-law's rigorous lessons echoed through our home, creating an atmosphere charged with tension. Kimberly, my sweet daughter, found herself caught in the crossfire of conflicting musical ideologies. Her enthusiasm for singing waned under the weight of Margaret's strict teachings. One evening, as the echoes of scales filled the air, I sat with Kimberly in her room, attempting to unravel the threads of her discontent. "Sweetheart, you used to love singing. What's changed?" I asked gently, concern etching my features. Kimberly sighed, her eyes reflecting a mix of frustration and fatigue. "Mom, Grandma's lessons are so hard. I thought singing was supposed to be fun, not something that makes me feel bad about myself," she confessed, her innocence tugging at my heart. I gathered her into a comforting embrace, realizing the toll Margaret's approach was taking on my daughter's spirit. "Kimberly, music is a beautiful journey, not a destination. We'll find a way to make it enjoyable for you, I promise," I reassured her, the determination to protect her budding passion taking root. The strained melodies reverberated not only in our home, but also within the family dynamic. Paul, torn between his loyalty to his mother and his concern for Kimberly, found himself navigating a delicate balance. One evening, after a particularly tense family dinner, he approached me with a heavy heart. "Isabella, I hate seeing the family like this. But convincing Mom to change her ways when it comes to music is like trying to move a mountain. It's always been her way or no way," he admitted, a sense of resignation in his voice. I nodded, understanding the complexity of the situation. We can't force her to change, but we can protect Kimberly's love for music. She shouldn't have to sacrifice her joy for the sake of tradition, I replied, my resolve unwavering. As the weeks passed, the dissonance within our family deepened. Kimberly's once bright eyes now held a hint of sadness, and it became increasingly clear that Margaret's teaching style wasn't nurturing the passion Kimberly had once embraced. One evening, after a particularly challenging lesson, Kimberly approached me with a determined glint in her eyes. "Mom, I don't want Grandma to teach me anymore. I want to go back to my original voice training classes," she declared, a flicker of newfound confidence breaking through the strain. Relief washed over me as I hugged her tightly. "Kimberly, you deserve to learn and grow in an environment that celebrates your love for music. We'll find a way to make it right," I assured her, realizing that this decision marked a turning point in our family's musical journey. The aftermath of Kimberly's decision to return to her original voice training classes left a palpable tension lingering in our home. Margaret, though disappointed, maintained a stoic exterior, while Kimberly, free from the constraints of her grandmother's rigid teachings, began to rediscover the joy in singing. One evening, as I watched Kimberly practice in the living room, her voice filled with newfound enthusiasm, Paul approached me with a reassuring smile. "Isabella, it's like we're witnessing a flower bloom again." "Kimberly deserves this chance to find her own voice," he remarked, his eyes reflecting a mix of pride and relief. I nodded in agreement, grateful that our family was on the path to restoring a sense of harmony. "She's resilient, just like her mother," he added, placing a gentle kiss on my forehead. As the days unfolded, Kimberly's voice echoed through our home, bringing with it a sense of renewal. The strained melodies of the past were replaced by a genuine passion for music, unburdened by the weight of expectations. In the quiet moments, Kimberly and I found solace in shared melodies, creating a bond that transcended the challenges we had faced. The turning point, however, awaited us at my sister-in-law's wedding reception. The grand hall, adorned in opulent decor, became the stage for an unexpected revelation. As Paul played a soft melody on the piano, I found myself compelled to step into the spotlight once more. "Mom, you should do it. Show them the beauty of your voice," Kimberly urged, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Encouraged by her enthusiasm, I took my place on stage, and the room fell silent. As I began to sing, a sense of liberation filled the air. The melody flowed effortlessly, carrying with it the echoes of resilience, passion, and the unwavering spirit that had defined my journey. The guests, including Margaret, watched in awe as the song unfolded, each note unraveling a chapter of my life. The final notes lingered, and a thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Margaret, wearing a forced smile, could not conceal the surprise in her eyes. "Well, Isabella, it seems there's more to your song than I thought," she remarked, her tone betraying a hint of begrudging admiration. Kimberly rushed to my side, her eyes sparkling with pride. "Mom, your voice was amazing. Can you teach me next time?" she asked, the joy in her voice infectious. With a smile, I nodded, realizing that the performance had not only unveiled the song within me, but also paved the way for a new chapter in our family's musical journey. Margaret, her pride wounded, approached me with an unexpected proposition. "Isabella, perhaps there's something I could learn from you. Would you consider teaching me to sing?" she asked, her words marking a shift in the dynamic between us. As we navigated the applause and whispers of the crowd, I realized that the strains of the past were gradually giving way to a harmonious future, one where the songs we sang carried the echoes of forgiveness, understanding, and the beauty of embracing life's unexpected turns. The echoes of my solo performance at the wedding lingered in the air as our family faced the aftermath of the unexpected revelation. Kimberly's eyes sparkled with pride, a reflection of the newfound joy that had blossomed within her. As we returned home, the atmosphere carried a subtle shift, a precursor to the changes that awaited us. One evening, in the quiet confines of our living room, Margaret approached me with an unexpected humility. "Isabella, I never thought I'd say this, but perhaps there's something I can learn from you. Your performance was truly remarkable," she admitted, her tone softened by a rare vulnerability. I studied her face, detecting a sincerity that had been absent in our interactions before. "Margaret, music is a journey we undertake together. I'd be honored to share what I know with you," I replied, extending an olive branch that transcended the boundaries of our past conflicts. As we began the process of teaching, Margaret's initial resistance waned, replaced by a genuine curiosity. Our sessions evolved into moments of shared melodies, breaking down the barriers that had defined our relationship for so long. Dialogues that were once strained began to flow more freely, creating a bridge between generations. One day, as we practiced a challenging piece, Margaret paused and looked at me with a twinkle in her eye. "Isabella, perhaps it's time we create our own tune. A blend of tradition and modernity, don't you think?" she suggested, her words carrying a hint of newfound camaraderie. I smiled, acknowledging the significance of her proposal. "Indeed, Margaret. Music is a tapestry that weaves together the old and the new. Let's create something beautiful." I agreed, realizing that our collaboration had the potential to redefine not only our family's musical legacy, but also the bonds that held us together. In the weeks that followed, the dissonance that once characterized our interactions transformed into a harmonious melody. Kimberly, witnessing the unfolding transformation, approached me with an earnest plea. "Mom, can we sing together? A family trio, maybe?" she asked, her eyes shining with hope. The idea resonated with me, and I turned to Margaret, who nodded in agreement. "A trio it is. Let's weave our voices together and create a song that transcends generations," she declared, her words reflecting a newfound openness to change. As we embarked on this musical journey as a family, the melodies we created became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of forgiveness. In the harmonious notes, we discovered that sometimes the most beautiful tunes emerge when we are willing to embrace a new tune together. The rehearsals for our family trio continued, transforming our living room into a sanctuary where melodies intertwined and formed a tapestry of unity. As the days unfolded, it became clear that the lessons we were learning transcended the realm of music, offering us a profound understanding of forgiveness, acceptance, and the strength that lies in embracing change. One evening, as we gathered for practice, Kimberly voiced a sentiment that resonated with the evolving dynamics. "Mom, Grandma, this feels amazing. It's like we're creating our own story through these songs," she remarked, her eyes reflecting the joy of shared experiences. Margaret nodded in agreement, her demeanor softened by the bonds that were strengthening between us. "Indeed, Kimberly, music has a unique way of weaving stories and connecting hearts. Our trio is becoming a testament to the resilience of family," she replied, her acknowledgement marking a departure from the rigidity that had defined her approach. The lessons extended beyond the harmonies we were crafting. As we navigated the intricacies of different melodies, we discovered the beauty of compromise and the strength that comes from embracing individual strengths within the collective. Dialogues that were once tinged with resentment were replaced by exchanges of encouragement and understanding. One day, as we took a break from rehearsals, Margaret approached me with a sincerity that touched my heart. "Isabella, I must confess, I've been blinded by my own ideals for far too long. Your approach to music, to life, it's taught me more than I anticipated," she admitted, her eyes reflecting a genuine humility. I smiled, recognizing the significance of her admission. "Margaret, we've all learned from each other." It's never too late to embrace change and discover new harmonies, I replied, extending a hand of understanding that symbolized the transformative journey we were on. As the day of our family trio performance approached, the anticipation in our home grew. The rehearsals had become a shared endeavor, a testament to the strength that emerges when individuals set aside differences for a common purpose. Paul, observing the transformation, approached me with a quiet pride. Isabella, I never thought I'd see the day when Mom would willingly embrace a different tune. You've worked wonders, he remarked, his words carrying a sense of admiration for the woman who had become not only his wife, but a catalyst for change in their family. The performance itself became a culmination of the lessons we had learned. As our voices blended in harmonious unity, I realized that the journey had been about more than just creating music together. It was about rediscovering the essence of family, the power of forgiveness, and the beauty that emerges when individuals, despite their differences, choose to create a melody of understanding and love. As the final notes echoed through the room, applause erupted from our small audience. Margaret, Kimberly, Paul, and I stood together, basking in the warmth of shared accomplishment. This, my dear family, is the real beauty of music, the lessons it teaches us beyond the notes, Margaret mused, her eyes glistening with newfound wisdom. In that moment, our family trio became a symbol of resilience, transformation, and the enduring power of love, testament to the profound lessons that extended far beyond the confines of a musical score. The day of our family trio performance arrived, bathed in a gentle glow that reflected the transformations we had undergone. As we gathered backstage, a sense of anticipation hung in the air, mingled with the quiet understanding that this performance would mark the culmination of our journey, a journey that had woven the threads of our family into a harmonious tapestry. Backstage, Margaret approached me with a rare vulnerability in her eyes. Isabella, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm grateful for the lessons you've taught me. This performance means more to me than I could have imagined, she confessed, her words carrying the weight of acknowledgement. I smiled, appreciating the sincerity in her admission. Margaret, the beauty of this journey is that we've all learned from each other. Our family trio is a celebration of the harmony we've restored, not just in music, but in our hearts, I replied, extending an understanding that transcended the dynamics of the past. As we took the stage, the audience greeted us with warm applause. Paul, Kimberly, and Margaret stood beside me, the embodiment of a family that had weathered storms and emerged stronger. The first notes of our chosen melody resonated, and the room filled with the harmonious blend of our voices. Midway through the performance, Margaret took a step forward, her voice carrying a depth that hinted at newfound humility. Isabella, I've come to appreciate the beauty of your tune, the one that blends tradition with a unique spirit. It's a melody that has restored harmony to our family, she proclaimed, her words echoing through the room. The audience, captivated by the authenticity of our performance, erupted into applause. The family trio had become a symbol of reconciliation, a testament to the transformative power of forgiveness and understanding. Backstage, as we exchanged smiles and glances, Kimberly voiced what we all felt. Mom, Grandma, Dad, this was amazing. Our voices, our stories, they came together like magic, she exclaimed, the joy in her eyes reflecting the sentiment that resonated within each of us. Margaret, for the first time, embraced Kimberly with a warmth that surpassed the boundaries of strict tradition. Kimberly, you carry the future of our family's melody. Embrace it, let it evolve, and never forget the strength that lies in unity, she advised, her words carrying a wisdom that had been tempered by the journey we had undertaken. As the final notes lingered in the air, we took a bow together, a united front that symbolized the restoration of harmony within our family. Margaret turned to me, her eyes holding a newfound gratitude. Isabella, Thank you for teaching me that sometimes the most beautiful tunes emerge when we're willing to embrace a new melody," she admitted, a confession that marked a turning point in our relationship. In the quiet moments that followed, as we stepped off the stage, the applause continued, but it was the warmth between us that echoed the loudest. The family trio had not only restored harmony to our music, but had also paved the way for a future where understanding, acceptance, and love would continue to be the guiding notes in our shared melody.